Here is how I managed to make this devil cookie pitchfork in like 9 hours or something. All the footage died, so you couldn't really tell, but we'll get to that in the end. But doesn't it look great? Look how tiny devil cookie is. This is adorable. You can't say this is not adorable. But anyway, let's get into the video!
Before the video starts, I'd just like to say the reason I have these, I've had to redo this entire video. I've already edited like the other half of the video, but I have to scrap that because I made this with the wrong phone. So yeah, that's really fun. That's really fun.
I didn't want to film in the fabric shop because it was super quiet, but in B&Q they have this pipe stuff, which it's very lightweight and it doesn't flop around like the foam does. And I got this bucket to dye it in. And thankfully, it's the same color as the hoodie, so it shouldn't be that tricky to use.
Okay, so you can't even see my face. I just got back from the fabric shop in B&Q. If you don't know what B&Q is, it's like a shop where they sell all like, not crafting stuff, more like building things. Anyway, so I'm gonna do a little haul. I bought this because this is just way too floppy. If you make it out of fabric, it does this. This is nice and it can still bend and it isn't like painful if you whack yourself in the head with it. But it's hollow, it's very lightweight, why I bought it. So there's that. This bucket, I'll explain the bucket later, just that's for another episode, I guess. And then in this bag, well, this piece of foam first, I should explain this. For this, I don't have any foam left, so I'm gonna trace this out, cut this on this piece of foam, which is way too expensive, by the way. Foam is very expensive. And I bought this cutting mat. This is so I can cut stuff. I don't really know why I got this. I just needed one. In this bag, we got the fabric. I'm running out of fabric, and the fabric that I was using is a little bit scruffy. This is less scruffy. It looks nicer. Ignore the fact that my top part of my head is chopped off. I angled the camera weird. We got this. This is for the same episode as the bucket. This dye, episode of the bucket. We got Mod Podge, I just needed that. And we got some thread to thread. It's gonna go in the bucket. And I think that's it. Oh, we got lemons. Very, very handy for when you're making devil cookie cosplays. Don't forget your lemons, guys. This is very important. Okay, so I don't really know where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna sort out this area a little bit. I have nowhere to sit down. There's literally lemons here for some reason. So yeah, I'll cut to that part. Okay, it's a little bit more tidy now. Time to get out, not the bucket, the foam. And we're gonna cut this out to be this part of the pitchfork.
Just a word of advice for when you're using foam. Do not just go blind and start chopping it. You need to draw something out first because it is so much more easy doing it when you have a reference. I recommend carving something out on paper and then tracing that onto the foam because foam can be pretty expensive and it's pretty annoying when you mess up on it, so be careful. Thicker foams can usually be a lot more hard to cut, so I recommend getting a craft knife or a box knife if you have one. If not, you can just use scissors. I had to get out a knife a few times.
Okay, so I've cut out what it needs to look like. Now I just need to shape it so it actually looks like a pitchfork and not just a chunk of couch that I ripped out of my couch. So I'm gonna do that now.
To shape it out, it's basically just making something out of clay. You gotta chop the edges to make it all smooth and the actual shape that you want it. Just keep on chopping until it looks like how you wanted it to look. Around this sort of time area, I made a mistake where I cut one of the pointy things a little bit too short, so I had to make the other one look shorter, and then that just made it look really dumb, so maybe don't do that. You can sort of see it now, but it's starting to look a lot more smooth. Just keep on trimming all the rough edges until it's all how you want it to look. If it's got felt going over it like I did, you don't have to worry about it too much, but if it is just the foam, you want to make it as smooth as possible. Here, I just used an old hanger for this that I wasn't using. I had just had to shape out the wire, and then I had to cut a hole out and then put it into the pitchfork. It was mostly just getting it into shape that was the hard part. You also have to trim it down a lot to make sure that it actually fits in and it's not poking anything. Then I had to get the Sharpie back out again, and I could trim out where I wanted to actually cut it out, so then the wire could go in, and then it'd look cool. I really wish I was better at angling cameras.
Okay, so just a quick explanation on how I made this. I carved it all out. I don't really like the tips of it. They're a little bit small. I could have made them a bit better, but this stuff is very expensive, so I'm not making another one of these. I also cut out all along here a place for the metal wire to go in. I just used an old hanger for this. I had to use pliers to cut it though. This would have broke my scissors. Honestly, I was struggling so hard even with pliers. But yeah, I'm gonna glue all this shut now, and then I'm going to get started on sewing the thingy for this. Yeah. I'm gonna make this look a lot less sus. I'm gonna record a bit for the video, so shush your mush.
Why did you see this?
Because people want to hear from you.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Tell the fan.
Okay. Hello, homies. Today. So Nicole, I can vouch for her out about. Nicole has been cutting out sheets of fabric and made a really weird looking pole. And that's about it. Thank you for listening. Go like and subscribe.
This is the totally not sus pole that I have cut out for the bottom part of the pitchfork. I'm gonna glue this on and it's gonna look less sus. But I've got this sheet of fabric stuff, I think it's felt, and I'm gonna glue this on. I'm such a cool YouTuber! Go subscribe to my channel! Hit the likes and notifications!
This part looks pretty easy, but it's one of my least favorite parts because if you mess up trying to cut this out, or at least try and like map it out and where you're gonna cut it out, you can only really find out that if you've messed up at the end when you've already glued everything on, so...
Do I just glue this on? I think I'm gonna just be, what's the word? Lazy. I think sewing this will just make it look worse.
I feel like sewing will make me kill myself.
So, I found out an annoying thing. Turns out when you put something really, really hot on this stuff, it just kind of dissolves into it. And now I've got a hole. I don't want that to happen. This is gonna be very hard. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I literally just started gluing it on, but from the fabric, and instead of the actual pipe lagging, that seemed to work because it cooled down a little bit. I don't know how it works, but it just did. So we're going along with it.
I just got a genius idea. Hang on. What if I put this in the pitchfork?
Why am I so
Look at this! It's this little thingy here. Instead of gluing the part where I actually cut the fabric, I glued the straighter part that I didn't cut on top of it, so it just looked a lot more neat. So I recommend doing that. Since it was nighttime, I didn't want to stress out on anything too much, so I just got started on doing the pitchfork part, like the actual pointy thing. I just cut out the felt for that. I was gonna glue the rest of it on in the morning, but then I just figured that I'd do like half of it and then leave the other half for tomorrow. Okay, so just a quick update. I have no idea how loud I'm being, but I'm putting felt on top of the pitchfork thingy, and I have wire. Nope, where is the hole now? Here it is. I have wire in here, so it doesn't go flopping about like this one. How you can literally just go. So I'm doing that, and it's gonna look cute.
This next part is really boring. It's literally just me sat on my floor trying to glue on the felt to the foam. The only interesting thing is how I was putting felt on the foam, where I would put more felt over it so it kind of hides the foam underneath, because it was cut out all wonky and it was annoying. But yeah, here's just a time lapse of me eating Doritos and trying to glue this on without it wrinkling. Yippee! Okay, so I broke my phone making this video because when I checked how long I had been recording for, it had been just over 8 hours, but it stopped recording when I was putting on the felt for this part of the pitchfork. I was just doing the back, but I finished painting everything now. Ignore the phone charm. I've finished painting everything. Here's up close. You can see where I've kind of cheated doing that part there, put felt underneath it and then putting more felt over it. I didn't want to sew on little red parts because I thought that would just be too annoying and fiddly, and I just wanted this to be done with quickly, so just waiting for everything. Everything's dry now. That's what it should look like when it's glued on. I'll probably glue that on tonight just before I go to sleep, and I'll record myself with it. But yeah, making and recording all of this has broke my phone, because now when I go to open my phone, it immediately goes like really warm and everything is lagging. So I'm gonna just pray that CapCut can finish editing 300 minutes of footage. It was 500 minutes, but then for some reason CapCut decided, hey, I'm gonna explode all that footage that you've just put into CapCut. Yeah, I'm gonna delete that. So now I'm missing 200 minutes of footage. But yeah, just to recap, I glued the rest of the fabric for that on, and I've just painted everything. What time is it now? I have no idea. Let's put bubble wrap over my laptop. That's the time now. I started at like 1:30. So yippee! I'm covered in paint, by the way. I've got paint all over my legs. The paintbrushes are all in the sink out there. I've got the devil cookie tower. That's just kind of looking down at me like, what are you doing with your life? But yeah, I'll update you later. Okay, so this is a few days later. I've been away from home for a while. I don't know why I'm holding the camera like this, but I will show you where I've gotten with the pitchfork. I ended up gluing it the night afterwards, by the way. I didn't glue it on in the morning, but I'll show you anyways. So it is just sat here in my room against my cupboard. I have nowhere else to keep it. It is actually not terrible. It's quite tall. For comparison, I am like, well, I'd say this is like maybe 1.3 meters tall, if you can tell. I am 1.6, 5, I don't really know. Nor do I care. But yeah, it looks cool. So, in comparison, this is how tall it is. I think it turned out pretty good. The only problem is it like does this wobbling thing and you can't hold it up very straight. But you know, it's made out of foam. What was I expecting? But don't worry. If you are sad this video has ended, there's a whole lot more, and keep your eyes up here, darling. This stuff on the floor, that's for another episode. We're gonna wait until that. But for now, thank you for watching the video. This has been a nightmare to record. Everything died in the end. Bye.